Here's another segment of the emergency comms.
Here we go.
How's it going, guys? Cory the Random Guy here with you today. We are going to continue on with the emergency comms after an emergency situation or an SHTF situation. But before we begin this video, I'd like you guys to keep liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, hitting that notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. This is all very important information, and I'm sure that there are going to be people that's going to correct me on a few things, which is fine because, you know, we're all human. We don't know it all. There is a P.O. box for the channel. Addresses for it will be down in the description below. You can also find it in the About section of the channel. Also, we also have a community tab now. So if you guys want to comment on anything, be my guest. Go right ahead on that community tab and, you know, share your guys' opinion, or even on the videos, that's fine too. So without further ado, let's get into this. So we've already talked about walkie-talkies, handhelds, you know, stuff like these handheld CBs, little FRS radios, other stuff like that. Now, here's another thing. You guys have everything set up. You guys have your little community around, stuff like that, and you want to have a home base to communicate with. I'm going to show you a couple of examples that you guys can do. So for a basic setup, what you guys can do, you guys can go with a 40 channel AM CB radio. You guys can have an antenna outside, and then you can have that as your home base. You guys can have little handhelds, or if you guys are still stuck with the FRS and MURS and stuff like that, and you guys don't have really the capability of doing this, you guys can go with a Baofeng hooked up to a outside base antenna. So what that's going to do is going to give you the ability to have a base, but yet still be able to communicate probably a couple miles, depending on the terrain, depending on noise in the air from whatever happened. Now, what's really good about CB radios is you have these that can be used for long distance communication, such as skip or whatever, and you can get information from all over the place to figure out what is going on. And you can relay that from here to here with the people that you are in contact with. Another great resource for long-range communication would be something that is sideband capable. This here is just an example. It's an RCI 2950DX. You guys can see here it does CW, lower, upper sideband, AM, and FM. Okay, and this is a 10, 11, and 12 meter radio. You can definitely get some information off of that with a simple A99 18-foot half-wave antenna outside. Another great resource is a full HF radio. This here is the ICOM 720A. It can go from 0 megahertz all the way to 30. Okay, you can listen on AM, upper and lower sideband. RTTY is like more of a data type thing, and CW is for like Morse code. So you guys could have this tuned on a simple long wire antenna for receiving, or you can have this set up for a base emergency communications as well on an A99. Another great resource to have in your guys' community for communication is a scanner. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be, you know, the best thing in the face of the planet. This thing is made back in the 80s and it works beautifully. Sometimes the screen doesn't work, but that's okay. You can have that hooked up to a outside antenna receiving, or you can just use that. Best part is, you guys can find cheap radios like, there it is, like that, for pretty cheap. I mean, you guys look on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, you know, you name it, you can go on there and you can see people selling simple CB radios for pretty dirt cheap. I bought one from a coworker of mine, paid 50 bucks for it. The Cobra 29LX. Okay, it's just strictly AM, but you hook this up to a base antenna, you guys can get out quite a ways with it, especially if you have the antenna up as high as you can get it. Now, in a SHTF situation, I understand you kind of want to go as incognito as you can, which is also good because you can have like a quarter wave antenna. If you have an attic, you can have a quarter wave antenna and you can make a ground plane out of it by laying wires across the rafters there, or you can take a large piece of tinfoil and basically create a massive ground plane up in your attic. I personally don't have one of those, so I don't have the ability for that. I have antennas outside. I wanted to give you guys that real quick too, that CBs is also a very good resource for emergency comms, especially long range communication. If the atmosphere is cooperating with us, we can get information all over the place. I hear here as of lately, I hear Jamaica, Mexico, I've heard Australia coming in and stuff like that on channel 38 lower sideband. There's a lot of information that you can get just by using the atmosphere to your advantage to get that long range information, and then you can pass it down to your community via FRS radios, Baofangs, whatever that you have. So guys, that's another good way to be prepared in an emergency for communications. So anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you guys are actually learning quite a bit. If you guys ever have any questions, like I said, comment below, get in the community tab, ask. You can even email me directly. My email address is in the About section. We'll talk to you later. 309 Central Iowa, signing off. Have a good one. Stay safe out there.